Hey guys, this is John Hennessey. We are out here at our Pennsville Proving Grounds right next to our factory in Sealy, Texas. And this is my personal 2026 Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Kind of a cool story with this car. I surprised my wife. So we had been married for maybe 6 months. I built a Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 with what we call our VR200 package. It's like the first cars that I modified back 35 years ago. Anyway, built one for a guy who lived outside of Frankfurt. And so I told her, again, we've been married for 6 months, I said, hey, let's go over to Frankfurt, go up to Hamburg, pick up the car, deliver it. So we did that. We were over there for about a week, had a great time. And so now we're going to Stuttgart, Germany to kind of do a recreation of our trip that we did in 1992. So we get to Stuttgart and get up the next morning. And I said, well, while we're here, let's go take a tour of the Porsche Museum. So we're in Stuttgart, we go to Zuffenhausen, and we're getting a tour. And then she comes to realize that I had ordered this car, which she was very glad to support me on that. They uncover the car, and I said, well, what a beautiful car, but that's not the color that I ordered. And so they go and they check, and I call the dealer, and of course, Porsche built the color that I selected. I wanted a light silver, and it said something, something silver, and I picked this. And on the configurator, it looks like silver. This is chalk white. I love Porsches for a lot of different reasons. I'm gonna go out and drive it, kind of talk about the things that I like about it, the things I love about it, and some of the things that I don't like as much about the GT3 RS. The differences between the 3RS, the GTS cab, and the Dakar, other than looking like the same car with some modifications, they drive like completely different cars. So my hat's off to the engineers and designers at Porsche for being able to basically take the same architecture of car and deliver a driving experience and deliver a personality that couldn't be any more different. So we'll go to talk about this one and see you on the road. Okay, here we are, 2026 Porsche 911 GT3 RS, which, you know, I could talk a lot about the car and kind of the category. There's a lot of discussion these days of, you know, this car I think has been somewhat considered the benchmark of a sports car that you can own and drive and also reliably take to the racetrack and go out and do a weekend at Circuit of the Americas or another fast track and basically just change the oil and brake pads every now and then and tires every now and then that has great reliability. So again, I think, you know, the Germans have run an iteration of this around the Nordschleife at the Nürburgring and run, I don't know, what, a low 650 lap time or something of that nature. I don't know if that was a Mante Racing or not, but anyway, so then of course, you know, the GTD Mustang is out now, which I've got an allocation. I'm getting ready to spec my car soon. I didn't have a place to put it, or I probably would have ordered it sooner. And we also have the new 01 with the ZTK package. So these cars are all being compared. And I spent time in the 01, and I've talked about that car, and I can give a little bit of comparison. But again, I think what's interesting about the 3RS is that this is a car that has a little over 500 horsepower, normally aspirated, 9,000 RPM, flat six, and it's the lightest of the three. But one thing that's special about the 3RS is that, especially on a racetrack or on fast driving roads, you can use most of the power most of the time. Again, I've not driven the GTD Mustang yet. I'm sure it's a very balanced car too. And the 01 for 1,000 plus horsepower is amazingly balanced, but you can't use all the power all the time in the 01, that's for sure. So I think, again, you know, it's neat to have this as a benchmark car. This is not an inexpensive car. I think mine's stickered at 305. I paid 60 over plus tax. I'm in it for $385,000. So that's, even with the premium we paid on the 01, I'm into this for $50,000 more than the 01, and I think I'll probably end up going with a higher spec on the GTD. The GTD will even be more expensive, and I don't have a problem with that. I think the thing that one of the things that, again, just as a side note from talking about this particular car, is when you see some of these different reviews and the GTD comes in a second or two slower than the other cars, I really feel it's not like, nobody's buying these cars as a measurement against other cars. Sure, that's part of the story, but like, when I'm driving this car, I'm enjoying the things that are great about it, and I'm not thinking about like, well, golly, is it what happens if a 01 or a this or that pulls up next to me? So I kind of wish some of the guys that are I won't say are GTD haters, but kind of are like, well, the GTD costs a lot of money and the this and the that or whatever. I'm like, I just think it's badass that companies like Ford and GM are wanting to build these badass cars. And the amount of engineering and design and commitment that goes into building these cars, like, I coined the phrase with a friend the other day, and I've been saying this to other people. I really feel like we are truly living in the true modern golden age of American sports cars and American exotics and hypercars. I mean, whether it's the cars that we build, the stuff that's coming from Detroit, this is the golden age. And even not just America, but globally. You got guys like Jim Farley at Ford, Bill Ford. I was watching the big Ford racing event that they had in Michigan a couple days ago, and the level of commitment that they have towards racing, and that they're going to use racing as a way to develop all vehicles driven on the road, whether they're EVs, hybrids, internal combustion, trucks, SUVs, sports cars, you name it. It starts with racing. That's how we started our business. That is so like built into the DNA of the Hennessey company, and to see major manufacturers embracing that you don't have furniture executives running the place and treating their future product like appliances, goes a long way for me. So anyway, I just want to have that little sidebar, like, if you love the GTD, then embrace what's great about the GTD, and basically you have this GT3 RS product from the Ford Motor Company. So I'm on a little driving road. I've got a little driving road, a little loop here near the office that we can get out, and little twisty roads, and kind of maybe not quite as good as the Swabian Alps, kind of south of Stuttgart, but kind of fun to get out and drive a little bit. So I'll put it in sport mode, and it's track. Put it back to sport. So what do I really love about the 3RS? I really believe that 911s and the 3RS in particular has the best steering feel of any car that I can think of. And that's another reason why I and we in the company buy these cars, is to have benchmarks. So whether it's for F5, the car that will come after F5 at some point, or the other vehicles that we modify, we love having a benchmark of what's the best in every category. And I really feel like the things that Porsche in general, but the 3RS are really just a 10 out of 10 on, are steering feel, steering precision, and the brakes and handling. It's just a very, very balanced car. Love that about the car. Now, I will say that at lower speeds, like I'm going 50 miles an hour down some country road here, the sound, the feel on this car is very compliant. This is the 3RS. You could drive it in traffic. You could daily drive this car, but the car has multiple personalities. And so when I get out on the highway, like I drove from my house to the office, which is about 45 miles, and I'll drive quickly on the road. I won't say exactly how fast that I go, but I'll just say as a general statement, this car, when you get it to about 85 or 90, gets kind of loud, and above 100, holy crap. I drove in this morning with my AirPod Pros in for the noise canceling, and so I could talk on the phone, because above 100 is so loud that I have to yell, and I certainly couldn't hear whoever I'm talking to. So Again, at lower speeds, it's super compliant. The other thing is the aero, when the aero really starts working, the big wing and all the aerodynamics in the car, again, at the higher speeds, it just makes, if you're on any kind of a bump, it just makes it somewhat on the harsh side. So, but this car on a racetrack, it's truly magical. It's truly a car that you can drive. I'm gonna put it in paddle shift mode. A car that you can truly use most of the power most of the time, I'll say. It's not all the power all the time, but you really enjoy the car. It's very satisfying to drive on the racetrack. Is there anything about this car that I hate? No, there's really nothing I hate about it. It's expensive. It's not, for me, this is not something I would daily drive or drive to the office or drive around town a whole lot, just from the standpoint of like, when I'm out moving around, I'm on the phone working most of the time. And anyway, so that's why I'm a little bit embarrassed to say I've owned this Tesla I've owned 2 Teslas now. And but one thing that I do like about the Tesla is that it's quiet. And that's another thing, as far as if you're a younger person. I'm 63. I've got hearing loss in both ears. One, I think my right ear is a little bit worse than my left ear. I don't have my hearing aids in right now because I don't need to amplify the sound of this particular car. But if you're into racing, fast cars, going to the drag strip, or shooting guns, or anything that's loud, man, I really strongly suggest you protect your ears. The AirPod Pros they're amazing. They noise cancel, and I mean, my son, we went pheasant hunting with some friends in the last year. One of my boys was using his AirPods to reduce the sound of the shotgun. So anyway, protect your hearing. I highly recommend it. You won't end up like me where you got to wear hearing aids as you get older. But yeah, this car above 100. Oh my gosh, it's definitely loud. Another thing that I don't like about it, my other 2 Porsches have an 8th gear. This only has 7 gears. So I get it. It's a race car, quasi race car, blah blah blah. Porsche are probably like, well, we can save 3 pounds if we don't put an 8th gear in it. But like, if this had an 8 speed in it, going down the highway, it wouldn't quite drone as much. And here's the number one thing that I haven't had the time to check it out, but I believe it's true. I think Porsche's got their little valves back here so they can transmit the really beautiful engine noise into the cabin to make sure that some person that's not in the car business, so it's not me, a doctor, somebody that's got a boring job, that wants to go out and wants to hear that, and that's great. But like, at some point, if I could push a button and turn off the little valves that let the engine noise into the cabin, because like when we're on the Autobahn, we got it up to maybe 168, it's freaking deafening. Anyway, so that's probably the only thing that I really don't like about the cars. They don't have the ability, like on the ZR1, I can put it in tour mode or put the exhaust in quiet mode, and it's reasonably, at least I can carry on a conversation on my cell phone, hands-free, and not go deaf in the process. Again, the balance of this car, just fantastic. And when you do rev it out, it just amazing. The dual clutch gearbox is great. The brakes are great. The sport bucket seats are surprisingly comfortable. I've also got these in the same seats in my Dakar, and I drove my Dakar from Colorado to Pebble Beach, about 3,000 miles round trip, a couple summers ago, which was a lot of fun. Gotta remember to shift. What a great car. Very, very fortunate to have one. What's next? There's a lot of new stuff coming from Hennessey this year. This is our 35th anniversary for our business. There's some cool things tied to that. 250th anniversary for America. Some cool things tied to that. And a lot of other cool, exciting things. Our new factory is almost operational. We'll build and modify about 1,500 vehicles in total this year. A lot of cool things. I'm going to try to be more consistent on my podcast this year. We're going to stop worrying about doing it in person and start doing it on Zoom or Teams. I see other guys like Chris Harris, Jim Farley, Jason Stein, friends of mine that have podcasts, and they just use video calls for their podcasting. So I don't know if I'm doing it once a week or once a month, but that'll be more consistent. And we're having a lot of fun with the business. And again, excited to own this car. Is this a keeper forever? I don't know. It's got some cool stories with the being the wrong color, and a great bucket list memories for me and my wife to be able to drive around, put 1,000 miles on it, driving through some amazing driving roads in Europe. But and again, if I had a garage condo at T11 condos up at Coda, I'd probably leave it there and just use it almost exclusively for driving around Circuit of the Americas. So anyway, but we've got other exciting news. Look forward to sharing with you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch up soon. Thanks. Cheers. Bye.
horsepower, baby.